Now it's time for Fantasy Fanatics.
Welcome into a very special edition of Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman. Draft day?
Yes, it's draft day, and we will be doing our live football fantasy draft starting at 2:15 Central Time, so about
12 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, about 12 minutes from now, so we're going to take a short break after we talk to you for a little bit so we can get back on track and on the air at 2:15 for the first pick. There's a lot of good people, obviously, to pick. And if your first pick, who do you go with? Obviously, you're probably looking at a running back, but do you go with Adrian Peterson? Do you go with Jamal Charles? Do you go with LaShawn McCoy? I mean, there's a whole bunch of options.
I would go with Jamal Charles. That's my personal. Adrian Peterson, if Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback, will have a good season, but I just don't see him. They're projecting him at 1,365 yards, 13 touchdowns, 258 points. But you can see last season he was down a little bit in yards. He had 1,200 yards with 10 touchdowns.
Right. I think we both agreed sort of a couple of weeks ago that Jamal Charles should be the number one pick. I know he wasn't ranked first; he was ranked
third.
Third, I think. Yeah, I know Adrian Peterson was above him, and I think LaShawn McCoy was the other one.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy, I believe, was the first pick in that one you read last week.
Right. So it's very interesting. And then looking at quarterbacks, I'm not sure who you take as your number one. I mean, there's there's a lot of good options. There's Peyton Manning. A lot of people aren't necessarily saying he's going to have as good of a season as he's had most of his career. But you have Peyton Manning. You have Russell Wilson, a good option, just won the Super Bowl.
Peyton Manning's projections are actually down from last year's actual what he did. 5,200 yards passing with 48 touchdowns. Last year he had 55 touchdowns and 5,400 yards.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
And then of course, there's other options like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. There's a lot of good picks. So, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do some of that. And the draft again is in about 10 minutes. So, yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a short break. I know it seems kind of strange, but we're going to take a break so we can get right back into the league because at 2:15, first pick starts. So we'll be back on Fantasy Fanatics, SportsTownChicago.com.
Jeff.
Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And we're getting ready for this draft to start. So the first overall pick... It says the pre-draft, so the first overall pick would be the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies, which I believe is Ryan Risky. He will have the first pick in the draft, and presumably going for a running back. We'll see if he takes Adrian Peterson, LaShawn McCoy, Jamal Charles, Matt Forte, Marshawn Lynch, Eddie Lacy. Those are the top six, and they're all running backs. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Top wide receiver, Calvin Johnson on the list. Top quarterback, Peyton Manning. Of course, he went to the Super Bowl last year, losing to Russell Wilson, so that obviously wasn't good for him and his legacy that he has. But yeah, we're about a minute away from the live draft, so that's good. And so who do you think? Now, without spoiling it, Andrew, who do you think you're going to take first pick? Because I know you're close to being last pick here in the first round, but sometimes that's good because you'll get two picks close to each other.
It really depends on how the first 8 people before me pick.
Oh, yeah.
If there isn't the top 6 running backs, I might decide to go off the wall and do something else.
Yeah, we'll have to see. So we're about 30 seconds away, and we'll let you know in real time as they draft. So
I'm just going to go ahead and just pick up Jimmy Graham right away.
Yeah?
Yeah, right now.
You think about Jimmy Graham?
And since you have Cutler in your name, you have to get him.
I'd like to have Cutler as my backup quarterback, yeah.
Your backup quarterback? How dare you, sir?
I'm not going to start him.
How dare you?
Unless all the quarterbacks end up going in the first 2 rounds. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, here we go. 2, 1, and the draft is on. So, first pick is being picked right now. And that is the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. I'm not quite sure what that means. Is that a saying from a movie? Is that a
Something that just rolled off the top of his head.
I guess.
I
yeah.
have a feeling he's going to go generic and just pick Adrian Peterson, but who knows? Anything can happen.
Right.
He might be one of those guys that still picks quarterback first. You never know.
Yeah, I don't think people really pick quarterback first. I mean,
I used to.
There's a lot. Well, I mean, it's somebody you build your team around, but I mean, it's just kind of. I mean, there's so many good quarterbacks in the league. I mean, we got Drew Brees on this list here in the top 20, and Aaron Rodgers at number 12, which is also his uniform number.
Is he going to go down? He's got 8 seconds left to pick someone. I think he's going to have auto-picked. So he has Adrian Peterson is going to be the first pick of the draft. No, he picked Calvin Johnson?
He picked Calvin Johnson, okay.
What?
Yeah, waited for the time to come down.
Oh, sure. That surprised me. Calvin Johnson, a wide receiver is your first pick. That's ballsy.
Yeah, it'll probably pay off. Now, the Vagabonds, I'm not quite sure what that means. That's one of my brother's friends. Kind of a kooky one.
He picked Adrian Peterson, so...
Okay, Peterson's gone.
It's a good pick, but I would have picked a different running back. That's
right.
kind of a generic safe first pick.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier.
Right.
Coco and Company is up right now. He has 40 seconds to pick. If I was him, of course, I'd pick up Jamal Charles or LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, this is my friend Mark. I doubt that he's actually joined the league. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think he did yet.
Or that he joined the draft.
Well, everyone that hasn't will be auto-pick after the first round.
Right.
The first round's usually the longest.
So that's So that's good, at least. We don't have to sit here and just ramble on and on
but that also
after the first
means
round.
that they're going to get good running backs. And
yeah, so if Mark does not pick, he's got 10 seconds.
He will get LaShawn McCoy, who is the next up pick. You also have to take a look at buys, because you don't want too many guys with the same buy. It's something that kind of...
Right.
If you're not picking by yourself, you need a pre-pick so you don't have the same buy.
Yeah, maybe try to look it up and stuff. And yeah, so Mark took LaShawn McCoy. Now we got Tucker Wright in the Posey, which is a very clever name.
Yes, it is.
So...
He picked up Jamal Charles, no surprise there.
Yeah, no surprise.
Next up on the list is Matt Forte for running back.
Right.
We'll see if this guy's actually here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's picking right now? Oh, it's Hoppy. Hoppy's here.
Yeah, he's in the back lab. I'm sure he'll pick.
Shouldn't take that long.
Hell, he might go with Forte just because he's a Bears player, and I mean we sort of know.
No, he didn't.
Know
He went
about
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch. Okay, he's going with Super Bowl champ.
So
there.
you have a pick yourself right now.
Yes, I do. And who am I going to go with? I know people probably think Matt Forte maybe. I'm gonna leave people hanging here. I'm trying to think, who do I want? This is kind of difficult for me to...
You want Giovanni Bernard.
And yes, I took Matt Forte.
I thought you would. It's almost my pick, and all the elite running backs are pretty gone.
Here goes my brother. He's going to pick. Oh, he already picked. He picked... Oh, no, never mind. That was you that picked.
No, I didn't pick Aaron
Or
Rodgers.
that was your friend Sheesh, correct?
Yeah, it's an interesting pick to grab Aaron Rodgers. Once again, picking up a quarterback isn't exactly...
Yeah. So far, who's gone? We have Calvin Johnson went, then Adrian Peterson, LaShawn McCoy, Jamal Charles, Marshawn Lynch, Matt Forte by me, Aaron Rodgers. My brother just took Zach Stacy, running back for the St. Louis Rams, and now it is Andrew's pick.
That was an interesting choice. Wasn't expecting it.
I was thinking about taking Zach Stacy. I was weighing my options between Stacy and Forte. I decided to go with Forte.
Yeah.
Just because I can watch him more closely, I guess you could say.
Man, this is a hard decision.
Yeah. It definitely is. I mean, you have to be careful. Some other Bears players who are on this list: Brandon Marshall checks in number 20. Alshon Jeffrey, number 24. Yeah, those are all of them in the top 30 anyway. You got 13 seconds, Andrew.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go ahead and draft Alfred Morrison, or Alfred Morris, actually.
Alfred Morris is gone.
Skipping Eddie Lacy because he's on a throwing team. Arian Foster hit a wall last year. Doug Martin, we're not really sure how he's going to do. I've never been a fan of DeMarco Murray.
And Peyton Manning is gone. My friend Luke
Oh.
took Peyton Manning. And Jimmy Graham with the second pick by Luke. You got 2 in a row
son
there.
of a gun. Picking Jimmy Graham early was my move.
Yeah. Hey, those are 2 really good picks right there. Yeah.
Let's see. Who should I pick up?
Yeah, he took Jimmy Graham right from you. I know you wanted him, but yeah. Let's see. We still got it. Nobody's taken Eddie Lacy yet. He's the number 6 pick. There's been a lot of high hopes for him in Green Bay. Nobody's taken him yet, so maybe pretty soon he'll be. Obviously he'll be taken soon. Especially if there's an auto pick.
I don't want to go all the way down to Andre Miller, so I'll pick up Eddie Lacy.
Okay, Eddie Lacy is gone. Now my brother is going to pick. He took Zach Stacy first round. Now he gets his second pick. Presumably not going to be a running back, but you never know. He took A.J. Green. That would be the wide receiver from the Bengals, I believe. And now it is Ashish's turn. The Chi-Town Negroes. And he took Brandon Marshall.
You should watch how you say that. He spelled it out Knee.
Should I say the Canegros?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
And now it is my pick here. I'm not going for a running back, obviously, since I drafted Matt Forte. Do I want Alshon Jeffrey? Do I want to gamble with that? I just don't know.
For a wide receiver, it's a little early.
Right. That's the thing. But I know Alshon Jeffrey is going to be picked probably soon. I don't know if he can put up the same numbers that he did before. Boy, this is interesting. The Packers have 2 wide receivers here on this list. They got Randall Cobb at 30, and they have Jordy Nelson at 22. I'm not so sure. I think I know who I'm picking. I'm taking Demaryius Thomas, the Broncos wide receiver.
Nice.
Drew Brees is gone. Hoppy took Drew Brees. So his 2 picks were Marshawn Lynch and Drew Brees. So
now with my next picks, I'm like 2 picks apart. So, do I want to pick a tight end first, or do I want to get a quarterback first?
If I was you, I'd probably go tight end first, and then quarterback, because they're still very good quarterbacks. I mean,
Jordy Nelson and Arian Foster were just picked up.
Right. Jordy Nelson was taken by Tucker Wright in the Posey, and that's a shout out to my brother's friend Corey May there. I know he's listening with my brother. They're doing the draft together. Alshon Jeffrey is gone, yes. That was the Vagabonds that took Alshon Jeffrey. Julio Jones was taken by Ryan Risky, and now he has his second pick here. Julio Jones is an interesting pick, too. Of course, he hasn't had he was hurt for a while.
Yeah.
So, hopefully he can come back and have a good season like he did in, I think, 2012.
Half the Atlanta roster was injured last season, so hopefully they'll pick it up this season.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for his second pick here. And highest ranking player left on the list is running back Doug Martin. I know I figured that would be a pick that a lot of people wouldn't take early.
Yeah, it's questionable to pick up because he came in late during the season.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many defenses were prepared for him to be.
Ryan Risky took Des Bryant, the Cowboys wide receiver, kind of a controversial figure, but a good athlete nonetheless. And now the Vagabonds have their next pick. And then after that, if he does not take Doug Martin, then Mark would end up with Doug Martin. We'll see who my brother's friend Brandon picked.
Doug Martin was picked up. Ben Tate was picked up.
Yeah. Ben Tate.
It's moving now. Antonio Brown was just picked up.
Yep. Antonio Brown was taken. That would be by the abbreviation is TRIP, but that would be Tucker Wright and Posey. That's kind of a clever name. And now Ryan Hoppy is on the clock here. I believe he took, who did he take? He took a quarterback, Drew Brees, and running back Marshawn Lynch. So presumably a wide receiver would be taken next. But we will have to see. There's 25 seconds remaining on that clock.
Reggie Bush.
Took Reggie Bush, okay. And now it is my turn. I am on the clock. I have taken Demaryius Thomas, wide receiver, and my first overall pick was Matt Forte, the running back of the Chicago Bears. So yeah, I really got to think about this one, I guess. Should probably take a quarterback. I'm trying to think who's the best quarterback for me.
Jay Cutler.
Yes, I understand that, but I cannot draft him. I might have to change my name, honestly. Traitor! I might have to change my name because I just drafted Andrew Luck. So
Et tu, Brute?
I just drafted Andrew Luck, so this is going to be interesting. If I don't end up with Jay Cutler, which now I'm feeling like I probably won't.
What a bad human being you are.
I'm going to try to find him on this list. He's down quite a ways. But hey, he's a very good backup quarterback. I'd love to have him as backup. Yeah, we'll... okay, here he is. He's at number 119. Ashish took Giovanni Bernard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Jay Cutler's the 119th pick, so in case anybody's trying to steal him, he's number 119. Now, San Jose Wombats are on the clock with the 28th overall pick. They took Le'Veon Bell. That's a pretty good pick. He's a running back for the Steelers. He put up okay numbers last year. He's probably going to have a pretty good season this year. And it looks like Andrew took Julius Thomas. That's a good pick, too.
That I did. I was looking at quarterbacks, and I was like, hey, I got a ways.
Right. Yeah, they're still very good quarterbacks on this list.
You go all the way down to
right.
Matt Ryan.
Okay, Luke made 2 picks in a row there. He got DeMarco Murray and Rob Gronkowski. He got Gronk for his tight end spot. And now it is Andrew's turn again. And let's see, we still have Cam Newton on this list. He's number 45. That's always a good pick. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and pick my quarterback now.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Nick Foles.
Going with Nick Foles. That's a gutsy pick. He had a hell of a season. A lot of people think he'll be able to keep it up, but also there's also a lot of doubters just saying, he had one good year. Who knows if he'll have another good year again. But
yeah. And I skipped over Matthew Stafford, which was even surprised me.
You did. I was very surprised. As soon as you said quarterback, I was thinking you're going to pick
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford, because we were talking about that a couple weeks ago, where we were doing quarterback comparison between Matthew Stafford and Jay Cutler, and you definitely liked Matthew Stafford a lot more. So I thought he'd be your guy, but
I just liked how Nick Foles looked last season. That 7-touchdown game really was
right.
Why not?
Yeah, okay, it's my pick now. I'll go over the last 3 picks that were picked as soon as I pick. I'm trying to think what I want to go with here. Probably tight end. You definitely need a good tight end spot. I'm going to go ahead and take Vernon Davis, San Francisco's tight end. Might not be the best choice, but it's definitely a solid choice for tight end. And the last picks, let's go over those. So yes, Andrew took Nick Foles. San Jose Wombats took Randall Cobb. Ashish took Vincent Jackson. I took Vernon Davis. And Hoppy just took Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Interesting pick, because, I don't know how I feel about the Cardinals.
Right. They had I think they were 9-7 last year and missed the playoffs. So they didn't have that bad of a year. But can the Cardinals keep that up again? I'm not so sure.
They have great defense, though. You gotta admit that.
Yes, they do. I think, are they a top 5 defense this year? I believe they are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. They're a top 5 defense along with the 49ers and Seahawks.
Jackson was picked
same
up.
Division. Yes.
Andre Johnson was picked up.
Yeah, and now it is the Vagabond's pick with his, and let's see, his picks. Before he took Adrian Peterson, he took Alshon Jeffrey, he took Ben Tate, and now he took T.Y. Hilton, and Ryan Risky took Ray Rice. We got Ray Rice, finally.
That's kind of a weird pick, because he's not going to play the first 2 weeks.
Right, yeah, he's missing the first 2 games, which I believe are against the Bengals and the Steelers, and they're both home games too. So
a risky, risky pick there. Risky.
I'm sure he's never heard that before. No.
Yeah, exactly. I'm original.
Yeah, the number. So yeah, he'll take the 41st pick, and that is Wes Welker. That's a pretty good pick too. And now Vagabonds with their 5th pick 42nd overall, and they took Jordan Cameron, and then Mark's auto pick took Pierre Garçon, who's a running
bad
back.
Pick.
Yeah,
Ryan Matthews was just picked up.
right.
What's stopping them from skipping all the way down and picking up, let's say, Andre Ellington?
Maybe they're just not scrolling down; they're just looking at the first thing.
What about a Joe K. Bell in Detroit?
That's not a
You
bad
don't
pick
have
either. He had a
Bush.
pretty good year.
You don't have Bush there anymore.
True. So it's Team Hoppy's pick here. This will be the 45th, and he took Victor Cruz. And now it is my turn. I'm probably going to be looking here for either running back or wide receiver, since I already have my quarterback locked up, and then tight end spot as well. Man, who should I take? I'm thinking I'm going to take C.J. Spiller, the Bills running back. I feel like he could have a big season. He was hurt a little bit last year.
I had him last season and it was bad.
Yeah, yes, I realize that, but I think I think he could have a big year this year. Is their quarterback E.J. Manuel? Is that their quarterback?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the Buffalo Bills quarterback. And let's see, 47th pick, that was Monty Ball, and then San Jose Wombats took Matt Ryan, so they got their quarterback. Let me see if San Jose Wombats had another quarterback before that. No, that was his first quarterback pick. What are you doing, Brett? Matt Ryan's not that good. Anyway,
Keenan Allen is my first wide receiver.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick either. Keenan Allen, San Diego, he had a pretty good year last year, too. I know in the playoffs against the Bengals, I think he scored 2 touchdowns, and the Chargers upset the Bengals. So, yeah, not a good pick. Oh, we got our first defense taken. Luke took the Seahawks D. That's not a bad choice.
That's a good defense to pick up right away.
Right.
Usually you don't really care about defense. I don't care about defense.
I mean, hell, that's the best defense, and it's taken. Roddy White was also taken by Luke.
I go ahead and pick up my guy. Wait, thinking about it. Yeah, I'm going to go Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin, wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks, is taken. So now San Jose Wombats on the clock for their next pick. And Matthew Stafford is still a quarterback option up here. 39th pick. San Jose Wombats took Frank Gore, and then Jason Witten was just taken as well. So now it is my pick. Let's see here. Who do I want to pick? Boy, I'm surprised Cordero Patterson is this far up on the list. I mean, a lot of people think he's going to have a really good season, but I mean, you know, it is Minnesota. You can't expect a whole lot. Yeah, this is interesting here. I'm definitely looking for a quarterback. I mean, I'm definitely looking for a wide receiver. Sorry, not a quarterback. So I'm trying to think who is my best option here. I could take... Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I'm going to take Michael Crabtree, wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. So now I have 2 49ers. I have the tight end Vernon Davis, and I have wide receiver Michael Crabtree. So hopefully the 49ers maybe can beat out the Seahawks for a division title this year. Otherwise, they'll probably be in as a wild card again, I would assume. Yeah, so Michael Crabtree's gone. So is Torrey Smith. That was taken by Ryan Hoppy. And Matthew Stafford was auto-picked, taken by Mark.
I'm surprised he went that far.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty interesting. And now we have, let's see. We've got next pick. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break because we haven't taken a break in a little bit. We're going to take a break, short break. We'll come back and we will tell you all who was picked, and we'll finish up the draft. Fantasy Fanatics, SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
Yeah, I'm Andrew Freeman.
And now, there have been a lot of moves that have been made since we went on break, and we're going to tell you about them right now, starting with who was taken first. I think Andre Ellington was taken when we went to break. So we have Andre Ellington, Stephen Ridley, Mike Wallace, Colin Kaepernick, Trent Richardson, Jeremy Maclin, Reggie Wayne. I took Jay Cutler. I did. Julian Edelman, Greg Olson, and Riley Cooper was just taken by Andrew.
Yeah.
And now it is Luke's turn to pick. He'll have 2 picks in a row, then back to Andrew, then San Jose Wombats, then the Chi-Town team will pick, and then it will be Cutler's Crew, my time to pick.
I am actually going to tell you my pick right now. I'm skipping
go ahead.
all the way to the bottom. I'm getting Curry Robinson.
Okay. Yeah.
He's my pick. That's the guy I'm picking.
Let's see. Riley Cooper was taken by you, and then Sammy Watkins and Toby Gerhart were taken by Luke, and then Kyrie Robinson. And now San Jose Wombats pick. So we'll see what he picks. And Tom Brady was taken. Okay. Tom Brady. Now it is. Now I'm going to be the next pick.
Looks like our beloved Jay Cutler is not on there anymore.
Yeah. No, I took him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I took Jay Cutler on my bench. And then Rashad Jennings was just picked up, and now it's my turn.
Should I pick up Johnny Manziel?
I don't know if anyone's going to pick up Manziel. Well, somebody probably will, either to be funny or to think maybe he's actually got potential, which is possible, I guess. But yeah, I don't know about that. I'm trying to think of a good flex spot here for me. I'm not going to go Steven Jackson. I'm thinking Eric Decker. Jets wide receiver.
New York, though. The Jets don't even know who their starting QB is.
Yeah, I know, but there's been a lot of good things coming out of Jets camp, I've heard. So I'm going Eric Decker, and I picked him. He's fits into my flex spot at the moment.
Wow. Chris Johnson, Dennis Pita, Robert Griffin III, all picked up.
Right.
Team Hoppy picked up Robert Griffin.
Okay, he had Drew Brees, I think, was his other quarterback pick.
Oh, Risky picked up my backup. My guy I wanted was
that was your
Rivers.
Choice? Phillip Rivers?
Yeah.
Wow.
He had a good season last season.
Yeah, he did. He led his team past the Bengals, and I think they almost beat... it wasn't the or maybe it was the Broncos that they almost beat, or the Colts, maybe. Yeah. Martellus Bennett was taken. That's a good tight end pick, too, by Ryan Risky. Yeah. We're here at the 82nd overall pick in the 9th round. The Vagabonds is getting ready to pick. So far, his team looks like... Oh, he drafted the Panthers defense, but his team looks like Kaepernick, Peterson, Tate, Jeffrey, T.Y. Hilton, Jordan Cameron, Andre Ellington, Panthers defense, and Cordero Patterson as well.
Steven Jackson actually got picked up.
Wow.
Surprise.
Yeah, I think that was the auto pick. And then Anquan Bolden, not a bad pick either. Taken by Tucker Wright and Posey. And 49ers D was taken by Ryan Hoppy, and now it is my pick. And let's see. I don't have a defense yet. I'm definitely going to have to try to find a defense. Let's see. Who is the next best defense on here? Let me look at the defensive positions. Broncos defense is still on there. That's a big gamble because they give up a lot of points. Cardinals defense is still on here. That's not a bad choice at all. Same with the Chiefs D. That's not terrible. Rams defense, a lot of people have been talking about that. I'm deciding between Cardinals and Rams. I think I'm going to go St. Louis Rams defense, and that might be my pick that I regret coming down by the end of it. But hey,
that's where you click it and you're like, no.
Well, it's sort of. There's something in the back of my mind that tells me that Sam Bradford's going to get hurt again, and the defense is just going to have to do all the work, and I feel like they're not going to be doing as well. San Jose Wombats is on the clock now, getting ready to pick, as the Broncos defense was also taken. 3 defenses in a row were just taken.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with defense because every year there's a surprise team that has that awesome defense.
True.
So I usually wait.
It is now your pick as San Jose Wombats took Shane Vereen.
I'm going to take Ryan Hoppy's favorite player, Tony Romo.
Tony Romo.
He's mine.
And that's not a bad pick either, really.
To get him that late now.
To get him that late, right? Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yes. So now Luke gets 2 picks in a row here: the 90th and 91st pick.
I need another flex position so I can switch them out during bye weeks.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm good. Because
Yeah.
I can switch out Alfred Morris with Curie when he goes, and then Eddie Lacy with Curie. And I still need a wide receiver, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to need... Well, let's see. I'm definitely going to need either another running back or another defense taken right now, because you always want to have more than one defense, obviously.
Yeah.
For your bye weeks, of course. So Luke took Maurice Jones-Drew, veteran running back.
MJD, interesting pickup. He kind of lost his legs last season.
Yeah, he did. But hey, I mean, you know, he could always have a bounce back year. He's one of those players that is definitely capable of doing that. So here's the 91st pick as he took Marquise Colston. That'd be
pickup.
Wide receiver for the Saints, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
My wide receivers are by week 10, week 4, and week 7, so I'm going to pick up one that's at week 9, Kendall Wright for Tennessee.
Not a bad pick. I was thinking about him.
Yeah. He got 1,000 yards last season.
Right, and Tennessee doesn't have the best offense, but I mean, Kendall Wright's probably their number 1, number 2 option, so can't go wrong there. That's a good guy to have in, especially when there's bye weeks for players.
That's what I like to do. I don't pick up defense. I don't pick up kickers because I want to make sure that my backups to my guys are pretty steady.
Right. San Jose Wombats took the Bengals defense. Ashish took Golden Tate. Not a bad option. And now it is my pick. Who should I take? Let me take a look here. Geez, this is difficult. I wonder, is there any Bears players left? I know most of the good ones are gone now. The 4 of them anyway, with Marshall, Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett, and Matt Forte, and then of course Jay Cutler. But let's see here. I'm gonna need another. I think I'm gonna take Jokie Bell. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, that's totally a good pick. You should get that guy.
Jokie Bell.
I'm surprised no one's picked him up. I mean, they got rid of Bush.
Kind of a sleeper pick there, I guess.
Yeah, Bush isn't in the picture anymore, so Jokie Bell is like the guy.
Right. Also, we want to remind you, coming up on Fantasy Fanatics, after our live draft is done, we will, and we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more rounds to go about. We will go over our pitching matchups and talk a little bit about the trade deadline and how crazy that was yesterday. So yeah, we'll be doing that coming up in the next hour. And Ryan Hoppy took Michael Floyd, the 96th pick.
Yep.
Yes, I have to see now. I have to look because I'm going to have. Well, I don't pick for a while, but yeah, I'm going to have to see who I want here.
I think I'm going to go for backup tight end, and then I'll finish it out with my defense and kicker.
Yeah, the backup tight end spot is good. I'm going to need to pick up another tight end as well. My tight end right now is Vernon Davis, which a little bit shaky, but I think Vernon Davis was a pretty solid pick. Okay, Justin Tucker was taken, and then
Bishop Sankey.
Bishop Sankey. That's the guy with the funny name, right?
Yeah.
And then Dwayne Bowe from Kansas City, and then Noshawn Moreno was taken as the first pick by Ryan Risky. He'll get one more in a row here. And, a couple other people that are on this list. The highest ranking person left on this list is Emmanuel Sanders, wide receiving option for the Denver Broncos. And Ryan Risky took Hakeem Nicks, so Hakeem Nicks is off the board. And then that was the 101st overall pick. I'm going to see let's see. Well, flex spots, that's pretty much the same thing almost. But you got Pierre Thomas is still on this list. So is Chris Ivory, Danny Woodhead, Darren Sproles. He's on the Eagles now. That's not a bad pick either if you're looking for a good running back. So Emmanuel Sanders was taken. So is Stephen Hoshka. That's a kicker, I believe.
Yeah, it is. I believe he's the kicker for Seattle.
Yeah. Hey, if you're going to take a kicker, might as well take the Super Bowl kicker. So he was taken, then Emmanuel Sanders, and now Tucker Wright in the Posey is up now with his 11th round pick, 104th overall. So my two quarterbacks are Andrew Luck and Jay Cutler. I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah, that's good.
And then your two quarterbacks are
Nick Foles and Tony Romo.
Nick Foles and Tony Romo. That's not bad either. Those are two pretty good picks, especially if their teams do well. Obviously, that's going to really help the quarterbacks because the Eagles, Nick Foles, those last 5 or 6 games was just dominating it. And then in the playoffs, he lost to the Saints on a field goal.
On this pick?
I'm going to take a tight end. Pierre Thomas was taken by Hoppy's team. I have to look for a tight end right now. And as I do that, let me look up here. Kyle Rudolph is an option. I had him last year. He did okay. There's Antonio Gates on this list as well. That might not be a bad pick either. Kobe Fleener on the pick. Yeah. Oh, did I run out of time?
Yeah, you did.
I was not even looking at the time. Well, that's okay.
Cecil Shorts.
Cecil Shorts.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times fast. That's...
I was worried because you were going tight end just like me, and I'm looking at Jordan Reed, and
right.
That's my next pickup is Jordan Reed.
Okay, yeah.
Unless your brother's listening, it's like, I'm going to...
Well, I think he's listening, but I don't think he's going to take him unless...
I got him.
unless he's really mean. I'm not sure what he even needs, but this will be the 108th pick overall. Cecil Shorts, is he a running back? What is he?
No, he's a wide receiver.
Okay, wide receiver. Well, that's not bad. I did need I was going to pick up another wide receiver before this was done with. But
Jordan Reed is my backup tight end. Now I'm going to start looking at defenses and kickers and such.
Yeah, Jordan Reed, not bad pick. I'm definitely my next pick will be a tight end. I wasn't looking at the clock. I got sidetracked, I guess.
That's why I tried to remind you. I'm like, oh, it's your pick, because I wasn't sure if you were looking at the clock.
Okay,
or not.
yeah, no, I wasn't even paying attention to it, to be honest.
It's my pick, and the Chiefs are still available, and they are now mine.
Okay, not a bad pick either. Darren Sproles was taken, as well as Steve Smith. San Jose Wombats on the clock now with their pick. I have 4 more spots to fill, as I think we all do now, don't we?
Yep.
4 or 5.
I have 3, actually.
3, that's right. Kyle Rudolph was taken. Let's see. Russell Wilson was taken. Danny Woodhead was taken. Chris Ivory.
By Hoppy. You yourself picked up Chris Ivory.
Yes, I did.
Is he still with...
Yes, he's with the Jets.
Oh, okay. Russell Wilson. Surprising that he made it that late. I know I'm picking up a kicker. My next pick. I'm not going to say which one so he doesn't get stolen from me.
And let's see, Cardinals defense was taken. Carson Palmer, Danny Woodhead, DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Miller was taken as well.
Andy Dalton was just picked up by Fire Breathing.
Yeah.
Vagabonds picked up Brian Hoyer, which, confusing, must have been an auto pick.
Yeah, I think it was.
Because he is the backup quarterback of Cleveland.
Well, there's some talk he might start. I don't think he's going to.
I think it's all talk with what's gone on in Cleveland.
Yeah, you can't.
Antonio Gates, David Wilson, Bernard Pierce, Matt Prater was picked up by Chi-Town Knee Grows.
So yeah, I've got 2 more picks left. So yeah, and then of course I'll probably end up making some moves and dropping some people and adding some people.
My next pick is Stephen Gostkowski. Good, I should be able to say that. Gostkowski is my next pickup. Hopefully your brother doesn't steal him away from me. Oh, and he did. That son.
Yeah, you could always go with Robbie Gold.
Oh, I don't want Robbie Gold.
You can always pick him. You know, he's there for the taking.
Oh, you make sure you let your brother know how I feel about it.
Well, I think he's listening. So
I'm not happy with you, sir.
Yeah, we got a couple picks left.
Man, that ruins everything. I'm just going to go ahead and get Mason Crosby. Not really what I wanted, but who cares?
Right.
It's a kicker. He's going to get me 6 points a game.
Let's see, I need tight end and kicker, probably what I'm going with. Those are going to be my 2 last picks.
Now I'm just looking at players that are rookies and
yeah, and then of course
maybe they're unknown.
Right.
Maybe a handcuff or something like that.
Right. Johnny Manziel was taken. He was taken by Luke.
Nice.
Robbie Gold was also taken. Me and Luke are both Bears fans, so that's probably why he took Robbie Gold.
I'm on the board right now.
Yes.
I don't want Sean Green or Darren McFadden or any of those guys, really. I might look at wide receivers real quick. I guess I can pick up Danny Amendola.
Danny Amendola? Okay.
He can't hurt me. So.
No. I mean, as soon as you get to your bench, you know, it's pretty much a free for all. It's sort of who you want to take and who you don't.
All right, I went ahead and picked up Danny Amendola.
San Jose Wombats pick. And then after this, we'll go right to break, and then we will come back. I'll do an update. It might be a little late, and then we'll start to go over some baseball stuff. And we'll also go over our teams a little bit, at least mine and Andrew's, and maybe some of the other teams, maybe some teams that we thought had a really good shot of doing something.
Yeah, my next guy is going to be a handcuff running back.
Greg Jennings was taken by San Jose Wombats. Now the 134th pick is up, and then I'm the 135th pick.
My next pick is the second to last.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart.
All right. I'm taking Kobe Fleener. He'll be my backup tight end. Phil Dawson was also taken, so was Tavon Austin. And now, yeah, my last spot, kicker. Gotta find a kicker.
Phil Dawson.
Let's see who's on this list. We got Nick Novak, Adam Vinatieri, Nick Folk, Ryan Suckup for Kansas City.
Don't suck up, suck up.
Sebastian Janikowski. I think he kicked. I don't know if he kicked the longest field goal ever, but it was close to it. Something like 60-something yards. It was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah. 15 seconds left with this pick.
Yeah, where'd you go to?
Well, let's see who he takes. Otherwise, he'll be stuck with auto pick.
He's just going to get the top player, I guess.
Trey Mason is the top player. So
Trey Mason was picked up. Nick Novak.
Yep. Greg Zerlien. Dan Bailey was taken.
Now, looking at your team, where do you think your weakness is?
Weakness, I think, wide receiver. I mean, I have Demaryius Thomas and Michael Crabtree, but those are sort of too big. They're not household names. There's a lot of wide receiving options on the Broncos. So I'm not sure if Demaryius Thomas was exactly the right pick. I like the Michael Crabtree pick, but and then I also have my flex option with Eric Decker. But I'll have to see. Okay, my last pick here. Who should I take for my kicker? I don't really want Vinatieri. I feel like he could get hurt. He's really old. Janikowski for Oakland. That's an okay pick. I think I'm going to draft Janikowski.
Okay,
I drafted Janikowski.
I'm going to go ahead and get a handcuff on my last pick. I'm not going to say what it is because your brother is an evil, evil man.
I don't know if he did that because he heard you or if...
Don't wait for me.
Or if
go ahead, pick somebody. Pick somebody.
Bears defense was taken. Uh-oh. That's
Grab
also big...
San Jose.
No, I think Ashish took the Bears defense.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Your brother's waiting for me to say something. Who's my handcuff? He wants to know who my handcuff is. I'm not going to tell you. You're on your own, buddy. There we go. Christine Michael is my handcuff. Thank you. And that is the draft for 2014 season.
Yes,
and
it
to
is.
go overview, my quarterback is Nick Foles. My running back, Alfred Morris and Eddie Lacy. Wide receivers, Keenan Allen, Percy Harvin. Tight end, Julius Thomas. My flex for now is Riley Cooper. Defense is Chiefs. My kicker is Mason Crosby. I have Kerry Robinson, Tony Romo, Kendall Wright, Jordan Reed, Danny Amendola, and Christine Michael on the bench.
Okay, we're going to go over a little bit more of this when we come back. Fantasy Fanatics, SportsTownChicago.com. Stick around. Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuffridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman, and we just finished our draft.
We did. We just finished our draft. So, I know Andrew had some time during the break to look through some of the teams in our league, and he was going to tell us which ones he thinks are pretty strong and pretty good teams besides his own, of course, and then which ones are maybe some of the weaker teams.
A weakness I'm seeing right now is Luke Schinner's team.
Okay.
Peyton Manning, that's good, but he has DeMarco Murray and Toby Gerhardt as his running backs.
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, he must have taken those. Well, he must have taken wide receivers first.
He also has Sammy Watkins as a wide receiver. Not sure about him. Not sure.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
But he went tight end strong. He has Jimmy Graham and Rob Gronkowski. It's like
those are two great picks.
It's 1 and 2 of tight ends.
Exactly.
So he decided to ignore what everybody else would usually try to get, running backs and wide receivers, and went straight for the artery of tight end strength. And his backups are dismal. He has Maurice Jones-Drew, Steve Smith, Darren Sproles, Johnny Manziel, Shangri.
The one thing I'm going to have to do, I forgot to pick up a second defense. So I'm definitely going to do that shortly. Probably end up...
I don't even pick up second defenses. I just...
No?
No.
I usually do... Well, are you going to for your defense's bye week?
When the bye comes,
Okay.
usually there's a team I can pick up.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I'll have to look at when the bye weeks are. I have to make sure, I didn't screw up horribly when I was picking. It takes a lot of work outside of the draft too. You have to sort of look and see. Then of course we have our fantasy baseball league that's going in full swing as well.
Yes.
So why don't you sort of go ahead and give us a review of your fantasy team, Andrew?
My fantasy team, it's actually looking pretty well-rounded.
Yeah, I thought so.
Luke has a weak team, and Risky, he got Ray Rice. I don't know what he was thinking, but Ray Rice, and he has some definite holes in his offense.
Right, well, because Ray Rice is only going to play 14 games, but, I mean, when he's out on the field, he can be more productive, but, it's going to be interesting because I don't know how good Baltimore is going to be this year.
Yeah, I actually went over my team already before I went to break. You should tell us about your team.
Okay, yes.
Introduce us, because I told you about those people.
My starting quarterback, Andrew Luck. It's a good pick, obviously. Matt Forte was my number one overall pick. This is going to be interesting. Matt Forte has had a great he had a great 2012 and 2013 seasons. If he can keep it up, then yeah, because I mean he's Jay Cutler's go-to guy when there's nothing to do. You just hand the ball to Forte. Forte will get you a good 3 or 4 yards, every time he has it about. So, I mean, he's definitely doing pretty good. I'm looking at his fantasy numbers from last year. He ended off the season. He scored 33 fantasy points against Green Bay in that final game in Week 17. So he ended the season on one hell of a high note there. 33 points. He's scored 30 before, 24 points, 24 again against Dallas. So, I mean, he's definitely done really well. I got C.J. Spiller.
Which was a concern. I was hoping you'd skip him and maybe go down the line a little bit. Because if you look at last season, he did have a high ankle sprain at Week 4, but before that he didn't do anything. 4 points, 11.0 points.
Right. He started to do okay once you got into Week 13. He had a good game against Atlanta. But he only scored two touchdowns all season, it looks like.
Yes.
He scored one in Week 5 and one in Week 13.
Very concerning. He only had 4 games where he hit 100 yards or went over.
But he did rush pretty well from Week 13 to 17. Besides Week 14, he rushed for 149 yards. He rushed for 67, 77, and 105 at New England.
But usually you'd want against Jacksonville, you only ran 13 attempts for 67 yards.
The main reason why I picked up Jokie Bell was to sort of take
in case
take the place of C.J. Spiller almost. Jokie Bell did pretty well last year. Week 1 he scored 2 touchdowns against the Vikings. Other than that, he was pretty average. Scored
he was a backup though.
Right. He was
Bush.
the backup to Reggie Bush. Now he gets more of that starting role. At least I think he will. He'll get more of a. Let's see. It says here he's more of a physical and consistent rusher who also catches passes. So that's somebody you'll definitely want. But he's an acceptable flex in standard leagues, and more like a running back 2 options in PPR leagues. So yeah, it's possible he could be my second running back option. We'll have to look and see. Of course, a lot of this has to do. My 2 wide receivers, I got Demaryius Thomas and Michael Crabtree. I really do like Demaryius Thomas. He scored a boatload of touchdowns, considering the Broncos have like 5 different people who score like multiple touchdowns every game. So, he's definitely doing pretty good. He had a 3-touchdown week at San Diego, so that was a good week. And then he ended the season really well, scoring 20 fantasy points and then 27 in the last week. So, yeah, he did pretty well. My other wide receiver, Michael Crabtree. Michael Crabtree, he was gone for a while until Week 13. He was gone for like 11 games with that Achilles tear, but now he's going to be back, poised for a season, hopefully. It says he's probable, so he seems to be a little bit of a hurt. It says the injury he currently has is not related to his foot or Achilles, so that's a good sign. Then just a couple other things real quick. I got my Rams defense, Jay Cutler backup quarterback for me, and I also got a couple other guys, including Chris Ivory, who is a pretty underrated running back for the Jets, and also Kobe Fleener is my backup tight end, and he is on the Colts. Yeah, so as you were looking, Andrew, were there any other teams that you thought were pretty strong, teams that are going to be tough to play each week?
Let me take a look here.
Yeah, there's a couple. I think my brother has a decent team, I think. He's got his quarterback is kind of weak in my opinion, Matt Ryan. But his backup quarterback, Tom Brady, nothing wrong with that pick. And then, of course, he has the Bills and Bengals as his defense. Zach Stacy, Le'Veon Bell. And his tight end is Greg Olsen, great offensive player. This is a pretty good team that my brother got.
Yeah. Another pretty good team, the Vagabonds. They're pretty average, but they got all around a good team. Let's see here.
So let's take a look at Ryan Hoppy's team here real quick. Ryan Hoppy has Drew Brees as his quarterback, Marshawn Lynch running back, Reggie Bush the running back. So that was a kind of a okay. I'm not so sure about that pick necessarily, but because Reggie Bush, he's average. Larry Fitzgerald was kind of an interesting pick as well. He definitely ended the season pretty well. He had a little bit of a rough start starting off, but Larry Fitzgerald is a pretty good pick. Backup quarterback, Robert Griffin III, that's okay, too. And he has Reggie Wayne as wide receiving option. My quarterback might be thrown to him sometimes, and yeah, so that team is a decent team as well.
Yeah, pretty decent. Your brother's team's stacked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If Matt Ryan has a better year, the only weakness I see is that he has Le'Veon Bell. That's kind of a question mark.
Right. Yeah, it is. Mainly because he's on the Steelers, and who knows what Roethlisberger's going to do this year. But also, I don't know how good their offensive line is. But
yeah, Tucker Wright in the Posey also has a really good team.
Oh, the team we should look at is Mark's team, the one that was completely auto-picked. We got Matt Stafford at quarterback. I mean, that's not bad. He kind of got a steal there, considering that was auto-picked. He got LaShawn McCoy, Arian Foster, Andre Johnson, Pierre Garçon, Delaney Walker, Doug Martin, Patriots defense. The Patriots defense, I don't know about that.
Yeah. He has 4 running backs on the bench, so get ready to be spying on the waiver wires because he's going to be dropping some of these.
He's going to be dropping, he'll probably be dropping Steven Jackson.
Or Trent Richardson. I would drop him too.
Yeah, you could also drop Trent Richardson for sure. Chris Johnson, he'd probably keep. He's pretty good. Delaney Walker, I don't know much about him. He's tight end for Titans.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was, average. He seems like more of a backup tight end to me.
He did all right.
Yeah, and I believe that's the only tight end he has. So yeah, Mark will definitely want to pick up another tight end, as well as another quarterback. His only quarterback, Stafford.
Yeah.
So you're definitely going to want to pick up a backup quarterback. So that's pretty good, too. Anything else you want to talk about fantasy football before we move on?
Good luck to everyone, and I'm stoked for the season to start.
Yeah, I am, too. This is going to be pretty exciting. Okay, when we come back from break, we will go over we'll talk about some of the deals that were made. First we're going to talk about how we did last week in our pitching matchups and who we picked and stuff, and then we'll also go over the ones from this week, and then we will close out the show and everything by talking about the trade deadline and everything that happened there. So stick around to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman. We are back.
We're back
here.
And now we're going to talk about some fantasy baseball. Of course, the trade deadline was yesterday, and wow, there were some really good moves. And then one pretty interesting move that pretty much signified that a certain team is going to try to win the World Series this year, and that would be the Oakland Athletics. They traded Yoenis Cespedes, their center fielder. They're really good player. They're not franchise player necessarily, but somebody that they were really trying to get, and they got him, and he's been playing pretty well. He's gotten traded to Boston for John Lester and Johnny Gomes. This was a very interesting deal.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I was shocked too. When I heard, I was driving to school when I heard the news, and I was like, "What? This is crazy!" Because John Lester, who's been with the Red Sox since 2007, he's he battled back from cancer and everything. And he was a Red Sox figure, a Red Sox icon, won 2 rings with them, and now he's in Oakland trying to win a 3rd ring. And Yoenis Cespedes is in Boston, part of somewhat of a rebuilding situation there, but they didn't they didn't get that bad of a deal because Yoenis Cespedes will presumably take the place of either Brock Holt or Jackie Bradley Jr., and I'm assuming it'll be Jackie Bradley Jr. That will be benched or platooned or whatever. So that was definitely an interesting move. And then, of course, there was another move made by the Red Sox. John Lackey went to St. Louis for Joe Kelly and Alan Craig, which I thought was kind of an interesting move, but I thought it helped St. Louis. I thought it was a beneficial move for St. Louis.
Yeah, Oakland already has an amazing pitching squad.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you get rid of one of your main batters, one of your home run hitters, and get more pitching?
Right. Well, that's the thing. I think they were concerned because Jason Hamill has not been pitching well at all.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it, is that Jason Hamill, since he's been to Oakland, he has not pitched well. So they
don't have anyone in their
pitcher.
farm league that they can try out and just bring up?
Well, I'm sure they could, but I mean, it's pretty much official now that Oakland is trying to win the World Series this year. So they thought that having a solid staff, a staff that's not going to screw up at all. I mean,
they dropped a keeper.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they did, but for offense, they like to play a whole bunch of guys. I mean, did they have John Jaso, for God's sakes, as their catcher? And, I mean, Stephen Vaught as well, and he's, it's just sort of some no-name guy that's played pretty well, as well as some other guys, too. They have Josh Donaldson, Josh Reddick, got a couple other guys. But now their starting rotation sort of looks like this. You have, if you're going into the playoffs, your game one starter, I guess, would be Lester. You'd have Lester, you have Scott Kazmir, you have Jeff Samardzija. I mean, and then you have Jason Hamill. I mean, this is a really good staff. You have Sonny Gray. So, I mean, there's a lot of people. And then, of course, in kind of a strange move, Tommy Malone was moved. I forget where he was moved, but he was another an option for pitching.
He was moved to the
Oakland
minors.
Okay, so yeah, Tommy Malone was also moved. So yeah, moved out of the rotation to make room for Lester, and yeah, that's also interesting.
I got offered a trade today.
Oh wow,
Samardzija for Tehran, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Samardzija for Tehran. I thought our trade deadline already ended.
No, it's tonight.
Oh, it's okay. It ended today. I think it already ended though.
Yeah, it ended this afternoon, but
right.
I was like, "Are you serious?" I'll give you Laos. That's a good deal.
Yeah, you give him Kyle Loesch.
He's 11 for 5. Nope. So you want to trade I have a 10 for 7 ace, and you want to give me someone that's 4 for 8, and yeah, they get a lot of strikeouts, but they don't win very many games?
Well, that's true. But, I mean, he's on Oakland now, so he's going to win more. But, yeah, I wouldn't have taken that trade either.
That's bad food.
Yeah, it's sort of, I mean, it's a good pitcher for a good pitcher, but it's sort of something that's not really worth taking.
I got the short end of the stick on that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Why would I get rid of Tehran? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then, of course, I made a trade earlier in the week, and the main reason why I did it was because I had too many people going on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I was trying to trade a couple of my pitchers that pitched on Wednesday to get a couple that pitched this weekend, and it paid off. Me and my friend Mark were able to come to an agreement. I traded Zach Greinke. Yes, I did. I traded Zach Greinke.
Wow.
And
the cojones on this one.
Let's see. I traded Zach Greinke and Tim Lincecum and they were both pitching on Wednesday 2 days ago for Hyun-Jin Ryu, which I thought was just as good as Greinke, so I didn't think that was too bad of a draft of a pick. And Chris Archer from the Tampa Bay Rays, and he's been a pretty good. He's better than Tim Lincecum too. So I thought I got a pretty good trade there. So yeah, I think Hyun-Jin Ryu pitches tonight against the Cubs, and then Chris Archer pitches Saturday. So I was happy. All my pitchers, I'm going to get all the points that they'll get, whether they're positive or negative. Because I still have Jason Hamill on my team, and he's gotten. I think last game he got negative 9 points for me. Way to go, buddy. So
woot woot.
I'm still winning, but I'm hanging on. I could possibly lose this week and have a 2-game losing streak, which would not be good because I'd be tied with whoever wins between you and Staten Island Girls. It looks like Staten Island Girls is probably going to win that.
He's up on me by 100 points, man. And he's up on everybody by 100 points. He's got 272, and I think the closest to him is 190. Mm-hmm. Right now, I got rid of 2 players. I got rid of J.J. Hardy because he's been garbage.
Yeah.
I picked up D.D. Gregorius because it's a spot start until Tulowitzki's back.
Yeah.
And I also picked up Nolan Arenado and dropped Holt. Holt was in a cold area.
Yeah, he was.
I picked up Arenado, who's very hot right now.
Yeah, he is. That's not a bad movie. I know Arenado had a great series against the Cubs. He made some really good defensive plays. I don't know if you saw any of it. He made, I think it was the same game. He made 2 really good defensive plays at third. He sort of looked like Manny Machado out there, the way he was throwing. Before we do an update, there was also one other monster trade, and that would be David Price going from the Tampa Bay Rays to the Tigers.
Oh, wow.
Which pretty much solidifies that the Tigers will win the AL Central. If there was any doubt that the White Sox were going to creep up on them, there's no more doubt anymore.
That's the nail in the coffin, as they say.
That is the nail in the coffin. They did lose Austin Jackson, and Austin Jackson now is on the Mariners. That makes it a little interesting for Seattle. Seattle, hanging around 500. So they're still kind of far back from Oakland and Los Angeles, but they're not that far out of the wild card. And having a solid outfielder like like Austin Jackson kind of helps Seattle a lot, as they needed help in offense in any way possible, and they finally got it. So now they'll have Austin Jackson starting in center field, and they didn't give up much either. I think they gave up Nick Franklin, who's sort of a platoon infielder type guy. He goes to Tampa Bay along with a pitching prospect, I think.
And looking back, Boston picked up a bunch of fielders, so
they
Holt literally might not get any playing time, even though he's the hottest bat on the team.
Right, he's the hottest bat on the team. I'd like to see him still playing. I mean, the Red Sox aren't really going for anything this year. You might as well let him play.
But they picked out 2 fielders, and he can play bases too, but where are you going to put him? It's that sucks for Holt, who's been playing his heart out this season.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. He's definitely been a really nice thing for the Red Sox to have. But yeah. So now Detroit's rotation sort of looks like this. So if they're in the playoffs, round 1, of course, the ALDS is only a best-of-5 series instead of a best-of-7. But, you're going to have Scherzer probably will pitch Game 1. And then David Price will pitch Game 2. And then Game 3, to close it out, you could have probably Anibal Sanchez. And your rotation as a whole will look like Max Scherzer, David Price, Justin Verlander, Anibal Sanchez, and Rick Porcello. And, I mean, Rick Porcello was almost an all-star this year. So, I mean, your 5th man, almost an all-star. He was on the all-star ballot. He's having a really good year for a guy like Rick Porcello. He's having a pretty good year. So this is definitely going to be pretty interesting to see what happens with Detroit, because they're pretty much going, and they've been in a little bit of a funk lately. So I think this David Price trade will definitely help them a little bit, and they're definitely going to be a team to be reckoned with. Okay, we're going to do an update, and then we'll come back and start to go over some of these pitching matchups. Welcome back. Fantasy Fanatics, SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And now let us go over some of the matchups. But before we do that, let's go to Andrew and see the scoreboard in our fantasy league and see who's exactly beating who in our league.
Well, tone down the music there.
Oh, yes.
DJ Stuppridge.
I'm sorry, it's too good of a song.
It's true. Matchup, Week 17. I like Staten Island girls. Went to spring break and brought back a hammer and broke my knees because he's kicking my butt. San Jose Wombats versus Watch Out! It's a point game as San Jose Wombats has 194.5 and Watch Out has 193.5. What will happen? Dun dun dun! Nashville Conquerors is spanking Shinner Squad until he bleeds, beating him 136.5 to 98.5. Coco and Company playing Ryan's Rollin', your very own co-host of Fantasy Fanatics.
Yes.
Ryan's Rollin' is beating him presently, but it's close, 216.5 to 203.5. Get down with the Kipnis is more like getting down with losing, as 162-0, the worst in our league, is beating him. And I have a bet, and I need Watch Out to win, because if I lose this bet, I have to wear a Jay Cutler jersey.
Oh, man.
For a day. 162-0, you need to lose.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have any doubt in my mind. I think he'll probably lose, but
I would hope so. He's 4-12, but he says he's going to catch up to an 8-8. Watch out.
I don't know about that.
We'll see. Maybe when fairies come down from Never Never Land and take you there.
All right, let's take our second break, and then when we come back, we're going to go over these pitching matchups, and that will pretty much close out the show. So we'll tell you who won last week and then we'll go over the games for tonight. So you're listening to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And we got about 15 minutes left here. We're going to sort of go over who won last week. I had already filled this out, but we'll leave Andrew in suspense here and see who won and who lost. So let's get that started. First game is the St. Louis Cardinals at the Chicago Cubs, and that was Joe Kelly versus Travis Wood. Joe Kelly now is on the Red Sox, by the way.
Yeah. Man, I believe Kelly lost.
It ended up being a no decision. It ended up being a no decision.
Because the Cubs ended up coming out with that game, and it was a good game.
Mm-hmm. I think Valbuena hit a home run to bring him back. That was a no decision. Next game was the Diamondbacks at the Phillies. That was Wade Miley against Kyle Kendrick. We both picked Wade Miley, and he lost. Kyle Kendrick actually beat him out, so no points yet. Toronto Blue Jays at New York Yankees. Mark Burley against Hiroki Kuroda. And Andrew went with Mark Burley. I went with Hiroki Kuroda, and Kuroda did get the win, so I'm up 1-0 currently. Next game would be the Red Sox at the Tampa Bay Rays. This was a matchup of two players that are gone now, John Lester and David Price. So that's
nice.
Pretty interesting. That ended up being a no decision, by the way. I think Tampa Bay ended up winning that one in extra innings. Next game was the Nationals at the Reds. Tanner Roark versus Alfredo Simon. We both picked Tanner Roark, and he won, so we both get a point. So I'm up 2-1. San Diego Padres at Atlanta Braves. That would be Jesse Hahn versus Alex Wood. I picked Alex Wood because he's my fantasy player. Andrew picked Jesse Hahn. Is Jesse Hahn one of your fantasy players?
Yes,
okay.
He is.
So that's why, I kind of remember that. And Jesse Hahn did get the win, so it's tied 2-2.
Yeah.
Next game is Jason Hamill versus Jerome Williams. That would be Oakland at Texas. I picked Jeremy Williams, or I think it's Jeremy. I think it's Jeremy Williams. And Andrew picked Hamill, and Jeremy Williams got the win. We talked about Hamill and his struggles. So, I'm up 3-2 right now. Then Chicago White Sox and Minnesota Twins. We got Kevin Correa versus John Danks. I picked John Danks. Andrew picked Kevin Correa. John Danks got the win. So I'm up 4-2. Next game was a no decision. That would be Indians at Royals. So that was a no decision. Next game was Marlins at Astros. Brad Hand versus Dallas Keuchel. We both picked Keuchel, and he lost.
What?
Yeah, so
shocking.
No points awarded there. And then pretty much the rest of these are all no decisions and losses. So I ended up winning 4-2. So that was definitely
the streak is ended.
So that was definitely a very low scoring week.
Yeah,
for sure. So that's that. So yes, I ended up winning 4-2. So I think I have 2 wins, and I think Andrew has 3 or 4 of them. Then Nick Swinky has one, but he has yet to come back to glow about that.
He runs away when I tell him to come back, so I don't know what that means. Is our show that bad? I don't know.
I
Maybe
guess,
just because it's like Friday afternoon and he wants to go home and watch Dragon Ball Z or something. I don't know.
I understand why people want to. I mean, the school as a whole really pours out of here on Fridays. Right,
I like it here.
Right at 1:30. I know,
even
it's my favorite place in the world.
Even the people that are in charge of us are gone, so I have free reign.
We are literally here by ourselves.
This is my castle.
There's literally like 6 people here, like after 1:30 on Fridays.
Yeah.
So let's go over the games for this week. We got Philadelphia at Washington. We got Roberto Hernandez and Doug Fister.
I'll go Fister.
I'm going to go Fister as well. So we both pick Fister. I'll write that down. Seattle at Baltimore. We got Elias. I'm not sure what his first name is. He's 8-8 with a 4.31 ERA. He's for Seattle. And then Wei Young Chen, who's done really well this year for Baltimore. He's 11-3.
I'm going to go Chen.
Chen. Let's see. This is we'll see.
It's not a hard decision.
I know it's not a hard decision.
It's either going to be a no decision or a loss to Elias.
Yeah, I gotta go Chen. Something tells me Elias is gonna pitch well tonight, though. I don't know. Okay, Texas at Cleveland. We got Williams against Salazar.
It's a toss-up because they're both horrible. I'll go Salazar.
Yeah, I'll go Williams. Okay, so that's that one. Colorado at Detroit. We got Morales against Justin Verlander. Verlander obviously has been struggling this year, but I think I'm going to pick him.
Fingers crossed. I'm going Verlander as well.
Okay. Cincinnati at Miami. We got Matt Latos against Jared Cosart. They both have done pretty well this year. This is in Miami.
Let's see. Miami, Latos versus Cosart. I'm going to go with Latos.
You're going to go Latos? Cosart was recently acquired. That's right. He was on Houston. Now he's on Miami. I'm going to pick Cosart. I think he's going to come out strong and get a win with his first win with that team. Angels at Tampa Bay. You got Shoemaker, who's 8-3 with a 4.13 ERA, against Jeremy Hellickson, who is making his starting debut for this season.
I'm going to go with Hellickson just for the hell of it.
I'm going to go Shoemaker, so we'll see what happens there. Yankees at Red Sox. We've got Chris Capuano, who was just recently acquired by the Yankees, against somebody who's making their Major League debut, Ranado for Boston. This is a Yankees-Red Sox series that is definitely not as exciting as they usually are because they're both not doing as well.
I'm going to pick Boston as a team because Boston's strong. I don't know.
All right, I'll go Capuano. I'll go with the veteran. I think he'll win it. Okay, we got San Francisco at the Mets. We got Ryan Vogelsong versus Jonathan Neese. This is another pretty good matchup.
I'm going to go Vogelsong this
You're going to go Vogelsong? I'm also going to go Vogelsong. I think Neese really isn't as good as his numbers show. He's 5-6 with a 3.23 ERA, which I thought it would have been higher than that, but I think Vogelsong will get the win. Twins at White Sox. We got Darnell versus Chris Sale. This one isn't very difficult.
Easy, Sale.
Yeah, we're both going to go Sale.
7.88 or a 1.88 ERA? Let's see here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
That's
sure.
the thing. Okay, Toronto at Houston. We got J.A. Happ versus McHugh for the Astros.
Because I'm happy. I'm going to go with Happ.
Happ. This is kind of a tough one. I think I'm going to go with Toronto. I can't see how Toronto, because Toronto's still a pretty good team, and they've been sort of sliding off, but I think they're going to get back on track here. We got Milwaukee and St. Louis. Willie Peralta versus Adam Wainwright. I mean, Adam Wainwright is an easy choice, but this is kind of a really big series, by the way, because, for instance, if the Cardinals sweep the Brewers, they will be in first place. If the Brewers win the series, they'll be even. They'll set a little bit of space apart.
They're not going to sweep them, but I'm going to definitely go Wainwright, and I think the Cardinals will probably win the series.
I'm going to go Adam Wainwright as well. He's been pitching lights out this year.
Yeah.
Kansas City at Oakland. We got Jeremy Guthrie versus Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray for sure.
You're going to go Sonny Gray. I'm also going to go Sonny Gray. 3 more games for you. Pittsburgh and Arizona. We got Edison Volquez versus Nuno for the.
I will go for Volquez.
You're going to go Volquez. I'm going to go Nuno. I think I picked him 2 weeks ago when we played, and he won. And Arizona is home. They're a pretty good home team. I just think the Pirates are due for a loss.
Yeah.
They haven't lost in a very long time. 2 more games. Atlanta at San Diego. We got Mike Minor versus Eric Stoltz. They both have ERAs in the 5s.
Yeah. I'm going to go Minor because Atlanta, I think, is a better team than San Diego.
Okay. I'm going to go Minor as well. I think they can easily go into San Diego and win. Last game, best for last, is because we got the Cubs. We got Cubs at Dodgers. Kyle Hendricks, who's pitched very well this year, against Dan Herron, who has not pitched very well this year. I'm going to go Hendricks.
I'm also going to go Hendricks. Go Cubs.
All right. Yes, hopefully they can win. Because it's always fun to beat the Dodgers. And especially when we want, at least me, I would like the Giants to win that division over the Dodgers, and they're in a race. So it's going to be a little interesting. So we got a little bit of time left just to talk about anything you want. I know the Cubs traded Emilio Bonifacio. So are you sad to see Emilio go?
Not really. He wasn't really a vital part of what the Cubs do. So
Right.
And a lot of people have been stepping up lately that you wouldn't think.
That's true. Because there's a guy on the Cubs, he's batting 290 something. I thought that he would have been traded too. That would be Justin Ruggiano. He's been playing pretty well. I thought a team that needed an extra outfielder or somebody in case somebody got hurt.
Ruggiano and Alcantara have been tearing it up for the Cubs.
Yeah, they have.
It's really why the Cubs have been doing so well the second half.
And Anthony Rizzo, I think, currently has a hit streak going. I know he was 1 for 3 last night. He's not doing as well as he was before the All-Star break.
I haven't heard much about Castro lately either.
That's because he's been doing pretty bad.
That's no good.
His batting average was 280 something. He was batting right up there with Rizzo. It's fallen down to low 270s. So yeah, hopefully he'll get back into it. And I'm thinking if there is one player on the Cubs, one good player that's to be traded either during the offseason this year or sometime next year, I think it's Castro. And I think it's Castro because he's already Major League ready. He's proven himself to be a pretty good player sometimes. And you'll have Addison Russell and Javier Baez coming up. One can play short, one can play second. So I don't think you really have such a big issue there. And I wouldn't be, upset if Castro went, especially if the Cubs are ready to win and you trade Castro for Samardzija back possibly, or somebody like David Price, the good starting pitcher, somebody that is your true number one ace, somebody that can go out and be durable each time you go out, and you'll have a chance to win each time, and then you'll have your offense set with Anthony Rizzo leading the way and Chris Bryant once he comes up. And it's possible that we could see Javier Baez come up in September.
Yes, we are all waiting for the coming of Javier Baez.
It's possible, but it's not probable. I think Jed Hoyer said in a statement yesterday that it's not highly, it's not likely that these players will be coming up. But starting the season next year, sure. We could definitely see Chris Bryant, and we could definitely see Javier Baez and Jorge Soler, and we could start to see all these players. We'll have to see. And then, of course, the guy that the Cubs got in the trade with Emilio Bonifacio, he is a catching prospect. He's a pretty good catching prospect, too, I believe. So that'll be good for them to see who's going to fit where. But, yeah, this has been a very special edition of Fantasy Fanatics as we had our football draft, which was a success. So, you'll stick around and for next week's show, and we'll be back at it. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And we'll see you next week at the same time, 2 o'clock.
Have a good weekend.
Fantasy Fanatics, Friday on SportsTownChicago.com.
Yeah.